This is Morten from English TV, and I'm here at Printing United in Las Vegas, together with my good friend Andrew from Fujifilm.
Welcome to Fujifilm, my good friend. Good to see you.
I was just wondering, because I have realized that I often, when I meet people, and I introduce myself and them as friends, and I think we are friends, right?
Good friends, I'd like to think.
Good friends, yeah. And we hang out together, having dinners and talk about industry. We talk about off industry as well.
Yeah.
Is it, your view, is it like dangerous in a communication where you need to deliver a message and I need to ask the critical questions, well, to have that relationship?
I think the young version of me, younger, I'll say, I probably would have been, because you're territorial, right? But no, where we're at right now, because we talk about, digital disruption, you need to have those voices out there and people and have allies and stuff. So you need to have that. Being friends is good. As we come out of different industries, out of different companies, you've got to keep those friendships alive, right? Because you just never know one day when you're going to have to call back on that, and with a little bit of help. But yeah, I think it's beneficial for both of us, for sure.
I share your views 100%. One of the reasons why I'm asking is just because I think that it sometimes breaks down a barrier that gets us to the point faster.
Exactly,
yeah.
And more honesty. You get
And the reason I think is because, I mean, we have been talking when you were working with Xerox. Yep. We've been talking at Drupa when you are now with Fujifilm. Yeah. And I think that every time that we talk, we get to, in my opinion, maybe a little bit deeper understanding of something that is on our mind, yeah, and that is important for us to try to communicate to the audience. And I know that this is maybe not so relevant for this issue in itself, but for me, it's important to tell you that I really genuinely like that you and we can talk about, when we talk about the color space, we can talk about the technologies, but we can also talk about how that influences the businesses and the people that we're working, that we're depending on, right?
I could agree more. Yeah.
All right. Fujifilm is a major player in the market, obviously, right? And it seems also that Fujifilm has become like a gigantic company that is developing in almost all kinds of technology areas and segments.
It's like something new every week, right? Yeah.
I mean, because just like maybe 2-3 Printing United ago, I don't even think they were here.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Working for them, I mean, how do you internally keep up the pace of development and sharing that needed information?
Well, as I always say, first off, good question. So that's interesting. So when I first came to Fujifilm, we've got this amazing story to tell, right? And I was looking at it. You've got wide format. You've got hybrid wide format. My favorite. My kids, as I call them, the POD, the toner-based technologies, embellishments beyond CMYK, right? You've got then of course you've got inkjet, roll-to-roll, packaging, B2 cut sheet inkjet. So you've got all these great things, right? And it's this massive thing. So you can't. It's not a portfolio. I refer to it as our digital disruption platform. And then, of course, underpinning all of that is workflow, right? Color management, as well as pre-press, hybrid workflow. I can send a job to a plate setter, or I can use the same workflow to send it to any of my digital devices, but not just our digital devices. Obviously, there's lots of digitals out there, so we need to be agnostic in the way that we behave there. So that is the big one. And so you asked me how I can kind of contextualize it. I've come up with, we've rolled out this week our Fujifilm Digital Disruption platform, if you will. So we're very happy with it, and that's kind of how we are telling our story.
So, Andrew, you used the word digital disruption platform.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear about disruption all the time. Do you think it can become a little bit saturated word when you talk about a platform of disruption? Or
so, as I always say when I talk to you, good question. So I'd like to take that question and kind of go right a little bit, okay? You hear disruption, people talk about it, but again, it's one of those buzzwords like digital transformation, automation, disruption, but it's never really contextualized with exactly, okay, tell me what you mean as it focuses on Fujifilm. So I'll take a step back for a minute and I'll say, if you look at things like digital transformation or automation, you should be doing those things, right? And it's not a novelty thing that you're doing that. That's part of, being in business in 2024, right? That's where we're at. But digital disruption, I'm sorry, I'll take a step back. Digital transformation is where you're changing the game, what you do. That's kind of our obligation for that. Digital disruption, what that allows for you to do is, in concert with the transformation, it changes not only the game, but it changes the field in which that game is played. Or match, if you're in Europe.
Yeah. But I understand that, but I can't help think about that. I think a lot of people do have a lot of challenges just understanding what digital transformation is, right? And now we're adding a layer that is, I understand it, but it's adding a layer of complexity to what the PSPs and converters should do in order to utilize the technology. And that was why I was wondering whether it creates, let's say, a distance to what we want to achieve.
I don't think so, because I talk about, and as I mentioned, I don't talk about is it a portfolio. I use Digital Disruption Platform as this is our offering, this is what we can do, right? So if you take a look at that linear view of the Digital Disruption Platform, whether you're wide format, B2, inkjet B2, roll-to-roll inkjet, packaging, embellishments with toner, world-class 4-color that is frankly as good as offset, if not better, right? Workflow that is that underpinning, color management, it really tells a story, right? And with every one of those things that you can disrupt, but you decide where in that disruption platform you want to enter, and we welcome you into the Fujifilm platform.
And how do a customer engage with you in order to get those advantages?
Well, that's a fantastic question as well. Obviously, coming to Printing United to
that's
talk
like
to, that's a good one.
One-stop shop, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I would like to have this as my new printing company. Can I just buy a copy of it?
Absolutely, we'll get you set up. Well, absolutely. But also with things like having immersive ways about showing our offering, right? So we're showing, the Apple virtual reality headgear, where you can get into there. You can open doors.
Apple one you have
yeah,
here?
absolutely.
Okay.
So we're showing that. We're showing that 1160 experience with our J-Press 1160, which is our roll-to-roll. How we're a little bit different. Better IQ, better color. We're using things like paper stabilizer instead of having to have pricey coatings. Just trying to make it easier to do business with Fujifilm, and that's what people want from you at the end of the day, is how do we make it easier for our customers to come into that platform. But you also mentioned, you said, so trade shows is one thing, that's fantastic, but also visiting our innovation hub in Chicago, right? There's another thing where you can come in and you can witness.
Okay, so that's like one of the places where you would typically say to people, if you want to engage with them, come to Chicago.
Absolutely.
And
So
then you
we've
have
got
similar setup where you can show equipment and do like things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Hey, Tony, how you doing? Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, so let's say that when I was asking the question on how engage, I think that's like, let's say that I'm a commercial printing company today, and I use Fujifilm CGP processes, for example, right? And I am really thinking about going into print, and this is my first time ever. Unlikely, but okay, let's play that game, right?
Digital print.
Digital print.
Yeah,
Okay, let's.
And by the way, though, that's most of the conversation we're having, because we're legacy plates.
Yeah.
We've got market share in that space. So a lot of the conversations we're having are exactly the questions that you're asking: is how can you help me? So we can do that. We can introduce to all this stuff, or if they want to go with just an imprint bar to maximize their offset usage, they can do that. If they want to do personalization, branding, whatever, they can start small with just that imprint bar for their press. So at any point we can enter, and I actually forgot to mention that, which is on display here as well.
But I think it's actually a very great value proposition, because I mean, if you look at your range of products here, right? I guess you want the plate business, of course, and if they want to do their own, they can go to Dimensions. Right? If they want to have an inkjet press, whether it's a cut sheet or a continuous, you can offer that. If it's toner, even with extended color, you can. So the full offering is, I guess, that you don't really care what they buy as long as it's Fujifilm, right?
Well, and that's just it. And when we look at plates, look, we still honor our offset. It's a consumable, right? So one of the things people say, why is Fuji coming out with all these great products? Well, you know what? As that goes away, we need to make sure that we're beefing up or arming up with toner sales. We want ink drinker and toner eater, right? So but here's the thing: we got to give the plate that we serve those on. So and make it good. So I think that disruption platform offers the best way to do wherever you want to go.
And just for people to understand 1,000%, the digital disruption platform is not like a product. It is more like a mindset, right? It's like, because it is a combination of business processes, technology, both on the
pre-press,
press, post-press, communication between devices, IoT. That is more an understanding how customers are using the technology in their, let's say, future thing, right?
Precisely. And then on top of that, you mentioned one of the things, business development, right? So we've got a new program called the Aspire program, because I noticed that we've got all these great embellishments, and we've now tripled our embellishment capability with some of these new products. But again, as we've seen in the past, we struggle with customers onboarding it, making it easy. How do we design, right? How can you help Fujifilm? How can you help us market to our customers? So the Aspire program is a post-sale, actually a pre-sales, whatever, helping our customers get ramped up and have some really kick-ass applications that they can use and sell.
We have too many friends here because that guy, he just
he's a little too familiar, as we say, right? So,
and he's an Aussie, so
well, who knew, right?
Yeah. So, I mean that's the good thing about Printing United, because we can have fun as long as we, as well as talking business.
I love
and serious,
it.
right?
Yeah.
No, so I think that is super important and interesting for customers to understand that when you engage with you guys and understanding that disruptive platform, it is actually to make sure that they understand their own business better in order to have the right, both equipment and right mindset, because I think that the printing industry is changing so much these years that you have to be relatively fast in adapting to the new reality to survive, right?
Couldn't say it better. With all the consolidation going on, there's people moving out of business, retiring, looking for getting away from the same old, but also the emergence of AI automation, not just using it as buzzwords, but actually taking customers over, showing how a photo using AI was automatically corrected, and guess what? Never touched it, right? So those things have got to get better, but we need to be able to be stewards of delivering those innovations and those technologies in a meaningful, thoughtful way, of course. Yeah.
You have been with Fujifilm for, is it a little bit more than half a year, or?
Yeah, it's coming on 6 months. But I never got the chance to be the new guy who's kind of hit the ground running. Yeah. But I will say I'm smiling more. I'm just so happy to be around all this great innovation and still hang out with good friends like you and tell my story.
Is it? I guess it's fun because also I always like when I pick your brain on specific things. I think you have a very holistic and a broad understanding of the industry, and I really hope that you can bring that to something that is as valuable as I think it is to the industry, and I really congratulate you on that.
Yeah, thanks. I want to do that, but I want to have fun doing it.
You have
again, I always say, and I'll finish on this one, is you've probably heard this before, but with rising tides, rise all the boats, right? So we want to make everybody better so that we can make sure that this industry's around for our daughters and our sons and all our friends, including you.
Good talking to you.
Good talking to you.